Alright, testing. Part 1250, Railroad Performance Data Reporting, 1251, General, 1252, Railroad Performance Data Elements, 1253, Chicago Reporting, 1254, Rail Infrastructure Project Reporting. Part 1251, General, the reporting procedure is covered in 1252 A1 through 9, 12 a.m., 1201 a.m. Saturday, 11:59 p.m. Friday, 1252 a previously calendar month. For 12:52 A11 to 12:01 a.m. Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Saturday, 12:53 A12 12:01 Saturday, 11:59 Friday, 11:59 p.m. Friday. Data required in 12:52 and 12:53 must be reported via the method in the form prescribed by the board off the public consistent with the government in favor of the complying with by 5 p.m. Eastern West time of the Wednesday each of the wake of the event with a particular Wednesday federal holiday falls on the day of the Surface Transportation Board office for the closing of the region of the data will be reported for the next business day of the offices are open. Each railroad operating shall provide the explanation of the methodology derived from the data of the initial filing of the update, and in which will the methodology chain the explanation shall include unit train definition of railroad, which of the data of the reporting shall reflect with the assigning of the train codes according to the normal business practice. If in the railroad chain with the definition unit train with shall notify the board of the change of the time goes into the effect for the term forms prescribed by the OPAGAC. Unless otherwise provided by the performance of the child data alerts the narrative, the infrastructure, the reporting, and any of the methodologies or explanation data collection report of the board under the part of the public available to post on board's website. Alright, 1252, Railroad Performance Data Elements. Class 1 railroads must report the performance data elements, paragraph 8, 1 through 9 and 11 in the section of the weekly bay for the data elements, and paragraph 8, 10 of the monthly bay for the reporting period is defined in the 1251A. However, the regarding data elements, paragraph 8, 7, and 8, the Kansas City Southern Railroad Company is not required to report information by the state, but instead it shall report system-wide data. System average train speed for the overall system following the train types of the reporting week of the train speed should be measured for the line haul movement between the terminals. Average speed each for the train type should be calculated with dividing total train miles by the total hours operated. Intermodal grain unit, coal unit, automotive unit, crude oil unit, ethanol unit, manifest and systems. On weekly average training dwell measure the hours excluded with the run through of the trains cars that arrive and depart from the terminal on the same through train. For the carrier system in the 10 largest terminals in the terms of the railroad cars processed for the terminal 12 the average of the time car of the reside of the specified terminal location expressed in the hours weekly average cars of the online with the following car type of the reporting week. Each railroad shall average the daily online inventory for the articulated cars that shall be counting as single unit the cars on private track for the customer facility that shall be counted as the last railroad on which they are located. Maintenance of the way of the cars over the carrier's railroad service to be excluded. Box covered hopper of the gondola, intermodal, multi-level, automotive, open hopper tank, and other total weekly average well with the original following the train type of the grain, the coal unit, the automotive, crude oil unit, ethanol unit, all other unit train for the purpose of the data element of the well type of the refer to the time period for the release of the unit train of the original unit actual movement by the receiving carrier. Weekly average number of the trains hold of the day may be stored by the train type of the intermodal grain unit, coal unit, automotive unit, crude oil unit, ethanol, other unit, manifested by use by cause of the crew, locomotive powered, or other railroads are instructed to run the same time snapshot of the trains hold each day, but then calculate the average of the reporting period. The weekly average of loaded to empty cars operating the normal movement of the bill of the original destination, which have not been moved in 48 hours, may be stored with the service of the intermodal grain, crude oil, automotive, ethanol, fertilizer. The following standard transportation commodities codes are in order to derive the averages of the report, the period the carrier shall run the same time snapshot of the day for the reporting period to capture that have not moved with the 48 hours or the more of the number of the cars captured on the daily snapshot. Each of the categories should average divided by the number of the days of reporting of the period of the arriving from the data carrier shall include the number of the cars with the number served anywhere on the system, but should not include the place of the customer facility, the construction placement placed on the interchange to any of the carrier of the board order staff and storage of the operating railroad service balance to ballast. Alright, the weekly total number of the grain with the carload bill with a report of the state of the aggregated with the following serve the train the STCC 01131 barley, corn, oats, rye, sorghum, grains, wheat, grain not elsewhere classified, soybeans, beans dry, peas dry, cowpeas, lentils, lupinians, total grains loaded bill that includes car shuttle service, dedicated train service, the reservation lottery, lottery opening and ordering system, private car with additional separately report with the total cars and loaded bills, shuttle, server the dedicated, the train, server the any of the versus total cars loaded bill on all order systems include private cars. For aggregated STCCs listed 1252A7, the railroad owned the release car with a move of the manifest server each of the railroads shall report the state of the following. Running total orders play for the running of the total orders filed with the orders which have not been filled with the number of the orders for the 1 to 10 days past due date, 11 plus days past due are as measured with the card due to the placement under the railroad's governing tariff. Alright, your weekly average coal unit train loading of the car loadings vary versus planned loading of the reporting week of the coal production region. Railroads have the option of the reporting and train loadings for the car loading should be consistent with weekly over week over week. Class 1 carriers operating with a grain shuttle program average of the grain shuttle per month for the total shuttle system by region versus planned turns per month. The total system by region of the data shall be included the first week of the report each month covering the previous calendar month. Alright, 11. Weekly carloads originated with the carloads received at the interchange of 23 commodity car categories separated into two subgroups. Alright, 22 historical commodity categories: chemical coal, coke, crushed stone, sand, gravel, the forms products except for the grain, food, kindred products, grain, mill products, grain, iron, steel, scrap, lumber, wood products, metallic ore, metals, motor vehicle equipment, non-metallic minerals, petroleum products, primary forest products, pulp, paper, allied products, stone, clay, glass products, waste and scrap material, all others, containers, trailers, fertilizer commodity categories, fertilizers, STCC defined in paragraph A6 of this section. B is reserved and lowercase b is reserved. Alright, 1253 Chicago Terminal Reporting. Class 1 railroad operating in the Chicago Gateway, they must jointly report the following performance data on the weekly basis. Reporting period of the defined 1251A. The reports required by the section by submitted by the Association of American Railroads. Average daily cargo following Chicago area yards: Bar Venzel, Blue Island, Calmick, Cercericio, Clearing, Corthwith, Gibson, Kirk, Markham, Provios, reporting week. Alright, every daily number of the trains had delivery with the checkout server, the receiving and carry of the reporting week of the average daily number that should be derived with the taking the same time with the snapshot each day with the reporting week, the capturing the trains held with each for the railroad at the time of the adding of the snapshot together, dividing the days of the reporting week for the purpose of the request of have the delivery refer to the trains date for the delivery railroad short. 2. The scheduled arrival at the Chicago Gateway at the request for the receiving of the railroad with the midst for the scheduled window of the arrival. If the checkout terminal is not identified in 1252B1 or included with the Chicago Transportation Coordinate Corporation official office assessment fluidity with the gateway for the purpose of implementing for the contingency measuring with the data requested in 1252B1, so reported for those yards. Class 1 railroads of the Chicago Transportation Coordinated Office, 1 class railroad members of the Chicago Transportation Coordinated Office designated the file with behalf of the Class 1 railroad members or the AAR. For written notices of the board with the Chicago Transportation Coordination Office, the change of the operation, all alert level tasks with 1 business day with the change of the task. If the Chicago Transportation Coordinated Office revive the protocol, also for the contingency board detailed explanation for the new protocol, include both triggers and countermeasure within 7 days of the adoption. Report under paragraph B of the section directed with the directors, the Office of the Public Assistant of Government Affairs and Compliance, and with the method of the Office of the Public Assistant prescribed in the Office of Public Assistance, Governmental Affairs and Compliance. Alright, 1254, Railroad Infrastructure Projects Reporting. Class 1 railroads shall submit the annual narrative report. Significant railroad infrastructure projects will be commenced during the current calendar year, 6 months of update with each project. The report shall be briefly described each for the project for the purpose of location, state of the counties, projected date of the completion, significant rail infrastructure, defined with the project of the anticipated expenditures of $5 million or more over the life of the project. The narrative report shall be submitted no later than March 1st of each for the calendar day update, no later than September 1st each of the calendar year, via the email with the Board Office of Public Assistance, Government Affairs, Compliance, via the method in them for prescribed the Office of Public Affairs, Assistance, Government Affairs, and Compliance in the event of the March 1st, September 1st federal holiday weekend, or falls on the day of the Surface Transportation Board offices are closed for any other reason. The data should be reported for the next business day when the offices are open. Our 1251 through 1252 is reserved. 1253 rate making, organization records and reporting. And this was actually a reading of your 1250 railroad performance data reporting. Testing.